Hi, and welcome back to Astrological Intentions.
We're number 15.
We are at number 15. It is October 23rd, and I am Alex Rueve, your host. I like to help bring the stars down to you when Sandy, my mother...
I'm Sandy, the astrologer, often called the optimistic astrologer.
So when she talks about astrology, I like to bring it down and help you guys out to learn a little bit more. We have coming up in the transits...
Lots going on this week.
Sun opposing Uranus.
Surprising events.
Venus sextile Saturn.
Troubleshoot your relationships.
Full moon, which one is it?
Hunter moon.
Venus retrograde, cazimi the sun.
We're halfway through.
Sun sextile Saturn.
To feel sure.
Mercury conjunct Jupiter.
See the big picture.
Then we have some Talisman Times. A couple that you made last week. One of my favorites was the sweetness of doing nothing.
I did it. I made one bracelet. And we have one upcoming on Friday. And I'll be grabbing that Sun cazimi
with
Venus retrograde.
Very cool. Then we have on the horizon our event in LA, California with Beth Davis. We still have one more free ticket. We have a Jupiter in Sagittarius webinar Mala workshop, as well as our constellation workshops. And then next week, we have Celebrate Your Life in
Hay House.
That's going to be coming up, as well as Our House.
So Our House, we have two crazy stories. She had one and I had one with this Sun opposing Uranus, which is, unforeseen, sudden surprise happenings. And both of ours are good. Yours was yours was exciting. Mine was nerve-wracking, yet exciting.
Right, and Uranus will do that, as well as on the radio waves. All of this information floating through the air.
I've been asked to be on a radio show and take questions.
So which one is it?
Dr. Laura Berman.
Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys.
So let's jump straight into the transit.
Well, it's Uranus. Let's just go quickly, as fast as we can. So
I've been feeling that energy this whole entire week. Well, and
especially
it's
today.
only Tuesday.
Right. Today's Tuesday, October 23rd. The sun is opposing Uranus. Actually, as we speak right now at 7:46 p.m. Central Time. And, sun is the primary essence. It's the sun opposing Uranus. Uranus is the planet that creates sudden surprises, sudden changes. So, watch for surprising sudden events. It's a different expression than your regular routine day. The rote of doing this and that over and over again. Something is going to come in and create a sudden, different path that you may take. And we have stories about that in our house.
Yes.
But watch for restlessness or upsets because, if you have a plan and Uranus is opposing, that it could bring in a little bit of a surprise, a little bit of a chaos, a little bit of a, got to do this now instead of what I was planning. So it'll be an extremely busy day, and high five on that day, very busy day. So be aware of accidents. This is a time where making quick moves you could be accident prone. So it's just that, make sure that you're, paying attention on the road. You're not, texting and driving. This energy is happening right now, all day, and it will still be here tomorrow and the next day or two. So let's just be careful of, be aware of your quick movements or other people's quick movements. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's what's going on now. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, October 24th, at 7:52 a.m., the Venus, and remember Venus is retrograde still, is sextile Saturn. And a sextile is the 60 degrees. It says opportunities here that have to be initiated. You have to make a move on it. And, we call this the troubleshooting relationships. It's time to get clear about what you want, what you need, and what you're willing to give back in exchange for that. So, what are the things you like to do with your loved ones? Commit to a plan, have a conversation around that. If there's any repair that needs to be done in a relationship, this is a good time to set those boundaries, right? Because it's Saturn. Saturn says, I'll help you out if you stay committed. If you've got a long-term plan, I'll help you with the self-control and the discipline. And Venus is here sextiling it. So
is this an opportunity to recommit to a relationship?
It is, but remember, Venus is still in retrograde.
Right.
So we're working things out. Like I called it troubleshoot, right? Like to say, here's what, we sit down at a table opposite each other and we just go, here's what I've been feeling. Here's this. Here's what happens when I do this, you do that. I don't understand that. You walk away. Whatever those things are, it's time to kind of be willing to have those like deep, serious conversations. Be ready for the long haul. Be ready for the plan, the climbing of the mountain, so to speak. Because especially if it's a marriage or if it's a committed relationship, it certainly does say, this is worth our time, right? Also, and a little bit later at 11:45 a.m. on Wednesday, the 24th, we have our full moon.
Yeah, it's been beautiful tonight.
And you know what it's called?
I don't.
Yes, you do. We talked about it on the way over. Fake out. The hunter moon.
I tried to play the naive part. You wouldn't let me.
The hunter moon. So again, we had the harvest moon last month, and now the hunter moon. And actually what you had said was so brilliant that I hadn't visualized it like that.
I don't know if it was that brilliant.
Well, I hadn't thought of it, so I think it's got to be brilliant.
Well, right. So explain a little bit about this hunter moon.
Well, the hunter moon is, after the harvest moon, where the harvest has taken place, the fruit, the vegetables, everything is off the vines. And usually the farmers will now start tilling that. Or they've frozen. They've gone through a frost. Mm-hmm. And so the leaves turn black and da-da-da-da. And this hunter moon now comes up and it stays kind of just like the harvest moon. So when the sun goes down, the moon comes up and gives, that brilliant light. And then the next day the sun goes down and the moon comes up just about 15 to 20 minutes later. Not the typical 50 to 60 minutes later. So it really is light. It's a continuation of the light, but it's this time from the moon.
So we get a lot of bonus moonlight these days.
As soon as the sun sets. So it's not at midnight, right? It's right around the dusk. And this is when they can see their prey. This is when they can whether it's bow and arrow or shotgun, the hunters come out because it's easier to.
Some of the leaves are falling down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I was thinking, and this may be just so strange, but I thought that, after the harvest, there would be many little, droppings of those fruits and those vegetables and pieces that these animals would like to, take as they could. If there were all these beautiful fields that just had all these little niblets, that they would be out there, and that would just be easy prey right there.
And I think that has
maybe
I really do. Let's
Thanks
check
for
the
making
farmer's
me feel so good
almanac.
about that idea.
I really liked it, but as the astrology of this, the sun just moved into Scorpio this morning. Today, Tuesday, this morning. So by tomorrow on Wednesday, it'll be really at a 1 degree Scorpio, and the moon is moving into Taurus. And so this gives us that opposition, the 180. And so it's at 1 degree Scorpio. So it's, it's early on in the cycle of Taurus and Scorpio. But the sun in Scorpio is the transformational sign.
Right. And so we should probably quickly just sidestep and say happy birthday, all Scorpios.
Happy birthday.
Yes. And just as a quick aside, we do on our Instagram and on our Facebook account, every single time that the sun transits into a new sign, we post up this really pretty glittery post that we say happy birthday to all our Scorpios. And if you tag any of your friends, they don't have to be Scorpios. They could be whatever sign, because they do really have Scorpio inside of their chart. But if you tag any of your friends, you get a chance to win a free reading. So quick aside, sorry about that.
No, it's actually a good point, because everyone's loved it. They wait patiently for the drawing, which you did today for the Libra.
Yes. And we got our winner, Yogi Mermaid Indy. I couldn't even believe that name. I loved it.
Well, I can't wait to talk to her.
I know, right? Okay, so back to
the astrology.
Yes.
So the sun being in Scorpio, it gets to be here always around this time every year. And the moon in Taurus the moon is exalted in Taurus. And so it's the earth. It's a fixed sign. It has stability. There's a tangibility about it. It's grounded. And so when we see the sun in Scorpio, the deep in the dark, shining on the moon, of the groundedness, that we think of, how can we, in a deep level, take care of what is stable, right? What is the things that we desire and we like. And I say that because the Venus retrograde is also involved in this full moon. So it reminds us of how, where, and why we are emotionally stand for the security and the needs that is being shown to us with this full moon. And
very interesting.
Yeah, it's time to explore like the deep truths. And where we can make changes, because the sun is opposing Uranus. And if the sun today is opposing Uranus, that means tomorrow the moon is moving with Uranus.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, because the moon just moved into Taurus. Uranus is at 0 degrees of Taurus, which is making its retrograde position. But moon Uranus is, again, a lot of that restlessness, that emotional
angst and anxiety.
Maybe, it could be excitement, but it could be this, like the nervousness that like there's so much to do. I got like, especially around the home, about relationships, about social just about, oh my gosh, I got so many things going on. And then the sun is opposing that. So it's kind of like, take a look inside, take a deep breath, calm down. We're in an extremely busy time frame right now. And I think, some of the people I talked to with readings today are like,
your clients.
What is going on? Yeah. And it's just this busy buzz.
It's hectic.
Yeah. So, explore, this gives us some energy too, to kind of dive deep. Right.
Right. So use that anxious feelings
to drill
progression.
Down, right? To drill in.
Right. And Uranus would love that, to use that energy, that kind of pent up feelings of either butterflies or, that anxiousness of restlessness of just getting out and doing something about it, being that progressive being of wanting to reach the next highest plateau.
But to do it with stability, right? Because Uranus wants change. In Taurus says, we don't want a sudden movement where it wasn't planned on our part. There's situations, circumstances, other people will create that for us, but we want to be sure-footed in the way that our reaction to it. Things are coming at us. Things will be coming at us. So, and don't forget that on Friday, the 26th, October 26th, this is the day that Venus retrograde, cazimi, which means it's within a 17-minute to the sun, which means it's in the heart of the sun. It's when it crosses in an inferior conjunction between the earth and the sun.
And I think we've just briefly touched on that once, maybe, with Mercury cazimi the sun.
Right. And this is Venus.
Right.
You know, she makes her every 18 months or so, makes her conjunction to the sun in between the earth and the sun. And this is when it occurs is 9:15 a.m. on the 26th. This is one of the times I'm going to grab the energy. We'll talk about that in Talisman Times. But this marks her halfway point of her retrograde cycle. And she'll be at 3 degrees of Scorpio. So this birthday is October 26th. So anyone that has a birthday, the 25th, October 25th, 26th, 27th, that this is the birth time that this cazimi retrograde Venus hits the sun. So pay attention to what is birthing for you around this November 16th time when Venus becomes stations to become direct again. Mm-hmm. So oftentimes Venus doesn't show her
true beauty value.
You know, she's still going through the process, right? Until she becomes direct again, and then she unveils. So pay attention to that November 16th, the birthdays of October 25th, 26th, and 27th. And when she hits this halfway point, she begins a new phase of, you know, action, of evaluation, of how she's valued and what she values, right? Kind of how she adorns herself. So she begins a new phase starting Friday. So that's a big deal. I'm going to grab that as a talisman time. Then the next day, you want to hear about that?
Of course.
Saturday, the 27th.
Saturn Day.
Well, which is funny because we've got Sun sextile Saturn on Saturn Day. And this is in the morning at 9:52 p.m. My bad. And, you know, the sextile, again, is a 60 degrees. Again, it's a many opportunities. Saturn says it's easy to feel good about things that you're doing. It's a time to get things accomplished. You're really feeling good and have a control. You feel like you've got a grip on. This is by Saturday, because right now we don't feel like we have a grip on anything right now. But by the weekend, we get a strong sense of our responsibilities and, you know, what our plan is. So that we have to look forward to for the weekend, to feel a little bit more assured. Mm-hmm. Right? Is that a word? Assured? Assuredness. Assured.
Yeah.
Assured. Okay.
Way to Saturn yourself.
Correct me, please, if I'm wrong. Daughter.
Thanks.
Then on Monday, and remember this is Monday, we always record on a Tuesday, and we take it all the way through the entire 7 days. And so on Monday, October 29th, we have the conjunction of Mercury and Jupiter. So I titled, To See the Big Picture. Now, this favors interests, understandings, communications, business activity, any merchant accounting, any business contracts you might have to do, any negotiating. And it's all, Jupiter is a planet of expansion. So it just says, hey, like, you know, Jupiter wants to see the big picture. Mercury is the little tiny details, the little puzzle pieces that make everything fit together. So when they meet together in the sky, they want big. They want to expand. So one little detail I don't want you to overlook, and those are the details. Because with all this excitement and all this activity and all this communication and these emails and these letters and these calls and these text messages, right? Because it's going to be a lot of it. Mm-hmm. It's Jupiter. It's going to be a lot of it. Not to overlook the details and don't miss something. So if you have to maybe, and this is Monday morning, if you've got a big meeting or something on Monday, be prepared. Make sure you set your alarm because there's a lot of activity going on that you don't want to overlook the silly things that that you would not normally not overlook.
Right. That might deflate your Jupiter.
You'd be like, oh, I'm really late now. Right.
Right.
So that's a big week.
That is a really big week.
You ready for it?
I don't know. It's already been one of those weeks. I've definitely felt some of that, a lot of Mercury going on from last week, and that's a lot of communication going on, and it's all good. But here we come. Here's some more. But this week is a little bit more about, I guess, Venus a little bit more.
Well, Venus is involved in quite a bit of this, including the full moon. So, and she makes her halfway point on Friday. So, we're almost halfway through this cycle. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what comes up. I have a special announcement, really interesting thing to say next week about that. But I'm going to hold it till next week. I'm not even going to tell you in the car.
Okay, fine.
So you ready for Talisman Times?
Of course, yes. Tell me some of the ones that you did this past week.
Well, I made a promise, right? I made some commitments last week, and I fulfilled them. So on Thursday, October 18th, we were getting the Mercury trine Neptune, and I made a bracelet, small bead bracelet, at like 8:29 p.m. The intention to enjoy the sweetness of doing nothing.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite one.
Right?
It was so sweet.
That was awesome. And the affirmation, I fantasize and dream today. I allow the ease and beauty of this moment to surround me with peace and bliss.
Can you just keep repeating that? So I can just cuddle up in the corner and just listen to that peacefulness.
So the next one on Sunday, October 21st that I grabbed was the Jupiter trine the moon. And I did a small bead bracelet. This is to benefit from others' resources. Affirmation, I am recognized as a caring and compassionate being. I commit to my responsibilities as mystic healer with ease and grace. I am blessed, and so are you. So I grabbed this because the Jupiter was in the 8th house. Moon was just coming up over the horizon in Pisces. And of course, in Pisces, Jupiter is the ancient ruler. So this was a really cool opportunity to go grab this energy.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
And Jupiter trying the moon would just be really wonderful feelings of, just
caring,
contentment and community. So that does sound good. I like that one.
I like that. Here's the one that's coming up on Friday. This is what I'm going to be doing in Los Angeles because I'll be there. We'll talk about the on the horizon in a minute.
Right.
But Friday, October 26th. So anyone that's going to be, it's in LA. We'll be up at 5:33 a.m. grabbing the Venus retrograde cazimi, the sun. So this is, like I was mentioning, the halfway point. So the intention to burn off old relationship troubles. Affirmation.
Don't we all need that?
Speak for yourself.
Great.
Listen to the affirmation. I clean, purify, and now polish my love, my beauty, and my money. This is now what I desire.
Oh, I really like that. I love the imagery of that. Mm-hmm. Polishing, these beautiful things that might just be a little bit tarnished, but all they need is a little.
Yeah, they're clean, purified, and now polish. Right? I can imagine that like the hot air on your knuckles,
right?
And polish your heart.
I like
so
it.
that's what I'm going to go grab.
Cool.
Yeah,
I love it. And so now on to the horizon. So you have your life purpose, I think it's called, right?
It's the Life Purpose Summit. held by Beth Davis this weekend in LA. And I actually have one ticket left.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but we'd have to hurry up because I'd have to get the information for the human design chart that you get.
Oh, right.
And they have to get your information because when you register, you also give your 2 hand prints because she'll do some hand analysis. So if you've not ever really looked at your palm of your hand and went in to look for Mars stars and Jupiter lines, it's a whole world in here. Right there. Whole world.
All in the mudra.
So this is what we're going to be learning this weekend.
Very
and of course, Intention Beads is a sponsor. So I'll be there presenting.
And, well, I mean, if anyone wants to grab that last free ticket, it is just email info@intentionbeads.com and we will get you that ticket as soon as we possibly can, if still possible. So then we also have coming up
the Celebrate Your Life. That is my favorite.
We love talking about that.
Liz Dawn is awesome. She's been running for 20-something years, these beautiful 3-day events that bring amazing people from around the world together to listen to these incredible speakers. Mm-hmm. You know, the Joe Dispenza, the Colette Baron-Reid. It's really, it's my favorite
Dr.
show.
Wayne Dyer used to be their headliner all the time.
Yeah. And so that's next weekend. I'll be going to that and you will be going.
I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas for a personal, growth and motivational speaking summit with Hay House. So that,
which is called the Hay House Live. It's their new revised program. It's 2 days only.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is actually going to be my first Hay House Live event since they've completely rebranded their expos. They shortened the days a little bit, but I think they really consolidated it enough.
Well, do you know what they do? Instead of going for the 2 hours and you could go to this room or then 2 hours later you could go to that room and hear all these different speakers, they really have more of an intense, you sign up for one speaker and sit with that in that speaker's room, conference room, the whole day.
Oh.
The whole day. It's brilliant.
Okay.
So you really get a lot of their teaching, a lot of their insight where you would have
instead of just like a sprinkling.
Instead of a 2.5 hour maybe class, you're getting an 8-hour class.
Interesting.
So they've done it. They've done a really good job. It used to be called I Can Do It. Mm-hmm. We used to work with them with that. And now they kind of closed that down for a while, revamped it. It's called Hay House Live.
Very cool. And I do know that they are having some webinars online as well. So I'm sure if you head to the Hay House website, you can find a little bit more information on that. And
they do a brilliant job.
I agree.
But let's just talk about intention beads. What are we doing? There's 2 big things coming up for us. Well, actually 3. Can we add the constellation bracelet workshop?
Absolutely. So we have coming up on November 8th and 9th, we have 2 opportunities for you to join into our webinar Mala workshop. And we're going to be really focusing in on Jupiter and Sagittarius. And this is going to be a transformational time that will be lasting about 2 years.
It's a year, 1 year.
Oh, 1 year. 1 year, and Jupiter is going to be in its happiest sign, Sagittarius, of everything from international travel to higher education, optimistic thinking, growth, and abundance. And so this is going to be a very cool workshop to join. It's online, so you don't have to travel anywhere. And what we do during the workshop is we teach you all about Jupiter and Sagittarius, and then you set an intention for yourself while Sandy hand makes a handmade bead for you. We take all of those beads, we're sending them over to our friends in Bali and finishing them in the Jupiterian Sagittarius way of sending them halfway across the world to get finished in Bali, blessed in a Balinese temple, and then sent back the other way around the world. So it really, we're going big here. We're going real big.
But what's really cool is prior to the webinar, which is why, please sign up in advance because we will close it at some point, that I do your chart. I get your birth information. I follow and I write an email to you with all these markings on your chart and showing you where Jupiter is going through, what house it's going through. Is it hitting any personal planets? So you have a really good sense of this next year. And it actually starts this November 8th and goes, Jupiter stays in Sagittarius until December 2019. So that's really 13 months of go big because you can't stay home.
I'm down to go big. I like that. And then also we have another online webinar series coming up.
That we just concluded our second one today.
Right, we did. Yeah. And so we just finished up our fall 2018 constellation bracelet and
workshop.
It's a workshop, right? So we had 8 wonderful individuals coming
together. Which is maxed out. We only do 8.
Right. And so we meet at very pivotal astrological moments where sometimes it's in the middle of the night and sometimes it's not. And
like this morning was 6:26 a.m. because we heralded in the sun moving into Scorpio.
Right.
Yeah. So we were there for it and we all set an intention.
And it was absolutely incredible. The feedback that we got.
I would just like to take the opportunity to say how awesome it's been being with everyone in this group. It's just, it's personal. I mean, astrology is like, showing up in your underwear.
And we have another one coming up December 7th, and that's our start date. We really like to start at a new moon.
Always.
Where we can use that energy, use that new blank slate to really create something that we want. And the way that you can sign up for that, just head to our website, intentionbeads.com. And when you click the little shop button, you'll head over to personal talismans, and you'll see it listed right there.
And it has all the dates. I pick 12 instrumental aspects that are going on in about a 6 to 7 week time. I know Christmas is in there, and of course we're not meeting on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I've left that to enjoy the family and personal time. But you'll see the dates there and the times. And really don't worry if you can't make all the times because these are recorded.
Right. They're recorded, and as soon as we get the recordings, they're up probably on the same day usually. And so you can catch up with pretty much everyone.
And today, so we just finished today, we quickly printed all those cards, all their 12 affirmations. We finished the bracelets and we shipped them out before we left to come to the podcast tonight.
Right.
So that we get to have our final call, which is the activation where they'll hold their talisman bracelet. What?
I'm just kidding.
Well, they know it's coming.
Right. But we have a really wonderful activation ceremony and meditation that we wanted to share with all of those constellation folks. Right. So yeah. Also, if you have any questions
there's 2 spaces left for the December one, by the way.
Oh, that's right. So we only have 2 spots left for December 7th, and then the next one is going to be the spring.
It's March
sometime.
Yeah.
We are going to get.
I have it in my head, but not on this calendar.
So, absolutely. And that's going to be a new year. And during that new year, we are also heading to Mexico for one of our annual retreats.
If you want to pack your bathing suit and your suntan lotion around January 4th.
I already do. I can't wait to go back.
We're calling it the light of the moon. We start on the new moon, which is the solar eclipse, on Saturday, January 5th, and we then depart on January 12th. So it's Saturday to Saturday. It's breathtaking. We're right on the Sea of Cortez, right there on the sea. I mean, we'll go paddle boarding every day. Sup.
So, yeah. And also, all of our listeners, if you haven't checked out our episode with Marcella Lay, who is the owner of Casa Tara, it's wonderful. And just to get an idea of where she got her inspiration from, her history, and all of the things that they had to think about to build such an but it's like an eco luxury resort. I didn't really know that was
really
that could be combined.
With like straw walls that are beautifully stuccoed in this white plaster, and you don't even have to bring your shampoo or your conditioner or your soap, right?
And they provide all beautiful biodegradable products for you.
And the pescatarian menu. Yeah,
it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious, with also tons of vegetarian options. So yeah, definitely check out that episode.
So come with us. We have about, we're already filling up. All of our events, we really like to get personal because we get into everyone's natal chart deep, especially on retreats. And with that, we're looking, I think we probably have about 4 more spaces available. This is no more than 14 people that, you work on self-awareness, right? Through creative measures too, because, we're clay bead artists. So no telling what you might get your hands into.
Always. And then also we have our Bali retreat coming up. If you are on our email list and you did receive the Mexico retreat, you'll notice a little button on the right that says, keep me posted for the Bali retreat announcement, because we have not announced it yet. We're still focusing on that Mexico retreat, but we're always, anticipating that. The dates, however, we have, and those are April 5th, 15th?
Yeah, 15th.
15th to the 26th.
Right. We know that for sure. So you can just ask off work. You can kind of, when you get your new calendar, just mark that time off that you're going to be in Bali.
Yeah, highlight those days.
Yeah. And we'll catch up on the details later.
Yes.
Okay. Our house. What do you want to know?
Oh, man. I think I want to go first because I don't think my story is as exciting as yours.
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's cute, but you can go first.
Well, we wanted to talk a little bit about the sun opposing Uranus, which is kind of a out of the blue type of happening that occurred.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. A surprise that's
for ill or good, right?
Right. And so one of my friends who is from Mexico was sending me all of these new songs that I should check out. And so one of them is one of these guys from Texas, and he's got this beautiful voice. And immediately I fell in love with the song. And so I, popped it up on my Spotify, and I was all about this guy for a whole day, just listening while I worked.
That was today.
Oh my gosh, that was today. And then all of a sudden I just peered over and I noticed that this guy is coming to town.
Up the street.
A 10-minute walk, maybe a 2-minute drive. And it's happening next week. And I am in town, and it's on Halloween. And so out of the blue, I just absolutely needed to buy those tickets. This artist's name is Sean James, and it was so perfect that the way that surprise happened. And I'm not telling my friend, but I bought a pair of tickets for us to go and watch this artist that, we both really have enjoyed. And this is completely unrelated, but there was another kind of cover band that I started discovering in the last few months, and it's called Scary Pockets. I know that's kind of strange, but they do all of these really cool, funky covers of everything from Billie Holiday to, I guess, Adele and, Drake. Mm-hmm. So it's so crazy, and it's just so out there, and even some Radiohead. So anyway, I've just been really enjoying my music today. So I just wanted to share those some of those little tidbits. But I want to hear about your house.
So again, with this Sun opposing Uranus, I'm going to LA and for this event that I'm sponsoring, and Dr. Laura Berman, who has a radio show, has invited me on.
I'm sure a lot of people know Dr. Laura Berman.
This is the Laura, the Berman. And she's invited me to come on to her radio program on Friday, because that was the only day that was going to work for the producer and me and her. And so that was already planned kind of like a week ago. And so that's all cool because, I do my own podcast. I could do that. Mm-hmm. Then she sent me an email just the other day on Sunday that said, hey, we'll promote you because you can do live calls. We'll get the birth information. You can take these live calls and then answer your questions.
Exciting.
And I got extremely nervous. And that was that Sun opposing Uranus. Like an opportunity came in, a surprising event. Uranus also rules, wavelengths, like radio frequencies. And so it kind of just immediately tuned in that I'd be taking these calls over, and which we want to do here at one point with our podcast. So I thought, let me try that on Dr. Laura Berman's show.
Right. Very, very different.
Very different.
I don't know a lot of radio stations that, they take a lot of live calls and there's advice given and, but an astrologist or an astrologer is going to be very interesting.
And she does this with intuits or other astrologers.
Right. But you're kind of bringing in that different element.
So, right. So it was like, okay, that sounds great and all. And I've never really done that. I sit down and do 18
right. And you do off-the-cuff readings all the time.
All the time.
But maybe on the radio, you might be a little bit more nervous.
Well, and because the person's not sitting right here with me, that, I can kind of get that, that intuition, vibe. I can kind of I can get into my flow. And so I suggested a giveaway show that you would call in, give me your birth information, and you would ask the question, what do I need to know right now? So I can quick look at a chart and go right to it. I know exactly what they would need to know right now. That's how I do my quick half-hour readings at the Wanderlust events. And so the giveaway is a accompanying orbit necklace that equates to the mantra or the affirmation that they should be saying with whatever transit is going on in their chart.
Yeah.
Right. To help them either calm down, rev up, express themselves. If they've got a Mercury, something getting touched, they need to, pull in or pull out that information of communication. So
very
anyway,
nice.
That's my exciting news.
I think that'll be very cool.
So it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
And I think it's going to be your first live radio.
Right.
That's
and
really
what we
awesome.
want to do is once I get that, I think we were looking at that today, the radio station that we can put that on so you guys can call in.
Right. So if anyone that is signed up.
Hear my peeps calling in to me.
Right.
On Friday.
So if anyone is signed up.
We're taping it at 10:30 in the morning. So that's LA time.
Right. And so I wanted to give that information to everyone that's listening on our podcast so we can add it to the links on the descriptions. But also it is helpful if you sign up for our mailing list so that you're constantly, in touch with us as well.
Right. We're doing lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
And more stuff.
Never ending stuff.
Yeah. And it's all good. It's all good. It's all exciting. It's all moving forward and letting go of old things. We're good at that. I have a Jupiter, Pluto in Leo on my ascendant. I'm good at reviving from old to new.
Shedding new skin.
Yeah. I'm good at that.
Transforming.
Sometimes not easy. I didn't say it was easy, but I'm just good at it.
Yeah, you are. Absolutely. And you have a mind like a vault. The dates that you can pull off the top of your head is absolutely impressive.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. If you haven't liked us on Instagram or Facebook yet, definitely go there. We are at intention_beads on Instagram as well as Facebook. You can search intention space beads and email me. I'm info@intentionbeads.com or alex@intentionbeads.com. Also, we would love for you to write us a review on the iTunes store, add some of your comments, and share with your friends.
Stay with intention.
Absolutely. Thanks again, everybody, for listening to this episode of Astrological Intentions. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.